Everybody, welcome once again to NoDQ&A video right here on youtube.com/NoDQCAW, and as always, NoDQ.com. Thanks as always for watching. If you haven't done so already, make sure you check out episode 150 on the YouTube channel, and also check out the bonus video on blip.tv/NoDQ.com. So check that out. For now, let's get to your questions. If the John Cena/Michael Cole segment and match did not happen, do you think people would have not thought the show was horrible? I had no problem with everything else from Raw other than that. I think that segment with John Cena and Michael Cole is one of those segments that you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. Some people obviously like that stuff, some don't. For me personally, I thought, I thought it was a throwaway segment. It's just something that they're doing to try to boost the ratings up, basically. I mean, WWE was very disappointed with the Memorial Day Raw rating, and they felt they needed to do something with John Cena, so they booked this match with him and Michael Cole and had John Cena humiliate Michael Cole, which is something that people want to see, at least from WWE's perspective. Their thought process is that people want to see Michael Cole get his ass kicked, and that's what John Cena did. So in theory, it was a good idea. As far as the execution and the barbecue sauce and all that, I mean, I could have done without it, but whatever. As I've mentioned before, this is a period in WWE where they're just trying to get by until the build-up for SummerSlam begins. And during this time, June, early July, it's usually not very entertaining in WWE. It's creatively their lowest point more times than not. If Ric Flair returned to WWE, do you think he would be a good on-screen manager for Dolph Ziggler? That's a good question. I'm not so sure. As I've mentioned before, bringing back Ric Flair, there's pros and cons. One pro is that he's Ric Flair, and it would just be good to see him back again. The con is that he is Ric Flair. I mean, he goes out there and he just does his shtick. And if he was to stay in the background and let Dolph Ziggler do most of the talking and let Dolph Ziggler do his thing, then I would see it as a big positive. My fear is that Ric Flair would end up outshining Dolph Ziggler because he is Ric Flair after all. But then again, when Flair was with Randy Orton and Batista during the Evolution period, I mean, Ric Flair knew his role. He stayed in the background and let the new stars do their thing. So it could be a big deal if that was to happen for Dolph Ziggler. And as long as Flair, stays in the background and is strictly a manager and doesn't do a whole lot of talking and sticks to being a heel, I think it would be really good for Dolph Ziggler's career, definitely. Hey Aaron, congrats on making 150 episodes. Thank you for that. But with WWE losing ratings, do you think they will make an undisputed title again to have more competition and more prestige onto that title? Please answer on video. Unless WWE plans on completely ending the brand extension, I don't see them merging the titles at this point. I think that they still have Raw house shows, they still have SmackDown house shows. And as long as that's the case, they are going to keep separate titles. They want to have a world title defended on any house show, regardless of whether it's Raw or SmackDown. So, like I said, unless they plan on ending the brand extension completely, we will continue to see separate world titles, at least for the time being. Why is Ring of Honor underrated? I have seen some of their shows on the internet, and it's not that bad, and why they don't show it on TV. They give their all, the wrestlers pushes, and when it comes to technique, in my opinion, ROH is better than WWE and TNA. Alright, here is the deal with Ring of Honor. We all know that wrestling is fake. We all know that it's scripted. WWE does things a certain way. Their idea is, Vince McMahon's idea is to make wrestling, aka sports entertainment, as much of a rock show as possible. Now, imagine this. Imagine that you're an average person. You tune on the TV, and on one channel, you see two guys in plain tights, plain-looking people no costumes or anything. They go out there and they just mat wrestle each other for 20 or 30 minutes. And then you turn on another channel and you see all this pyro, you see cool entrance music, you see cool lighting, you see a big stage, you see guys in colorful costumes coming out and talking trash to each other, hitting each other with weapons, and the matches aren't too long. They usually go about 5-10 minutes. What do you think the average person is going to be more interested in? I mean, Ring of Honor tries to portray itself as a real sport. And it's good for WWE to also try to bring a sense of realism and try to make you suspend disbelief. I mean, that's still important. But if you watch like a movie like Batman or you watch a comic book movie, it's very over the top. It's these colorful characters. And the thing is, the writing and the storytelling is so well done that you're still able to suspend disbelief despite the fact that it's so over the top and it's not something that you could really believe it could happen in real life. And, like The Simpsons. You watch The Simpsons, you know they're cartoon characters, but the writing back in the old days was so good that you forget they're cartoon characters and you think what you're watching is real. So that's what WWE does. WWE is good when they have all this crazy stuff going on, but it's logical and it makes sense, and you can suspend disbelief and you can have people in the background not honking their cars at people. And WWE, they do a great job at that, and that's why they've been so successful. And perhaps Ring of Honor, because they don't go over the top, that they're not able to go beyond having a cult following. So I mean that's how I see it, and honestly that's why I don't really follow Ring of Honor that much. And I've always been into WWE. That's what I grew up with. I grew up with the sports entertainment that WWE presents, and that's just what I like. I mean, I'm not a sports guy. I don't watch football or baseball or any of that stuff. I watch WWE because I want to be entertained. Bottom line, I don't care if it comes off like a real sport or not. I just want to enjoy myself and have a good time. Hey Aaron, congrats on your wedding. Thank you for that. I wish you the best of luck. Was the Nexus storyline a ripoff of the WCW invasion? I think that the idea behind Nexus was to use elements from previous storylines that were successful, like the NWO. Obviously, they wanted that sense of chaos, that things were out of control, and WWE couldn't control these guys. And that first angle they did, the first night in, I mean, that was brilliant. That was one of the best segments WWE put out in a long time. And unfortunately, they didn't have much of a follow-up for it. And, Daniel Bryan, that whole incident with him, and he got fired, and that kind of took the wind out of the whole thing. It just ruined the whole momentum that they had built up. And as the weeks went on, they didn't really have any convincing segments to keep you interested in the faction and the storyline. But yeah, I mean, that was the idea, was to try to use what the NWO did with all the chaos and controversy and all that, and try to bring that into the modern era. But the thing is, WCW kept it going for weeks and weeks and weeks, and WWE it just fizzled out, basically. Do you think Brock Lesnar was blamed for Extreme Rules' buy rate? I don't think WWE realizes that most people won't buy back-to-back pay-per-views at $50 a pop. Why not charge less for pay-per-views that aren't the big four? I'm sure WWE is disappointed with Brock Lesnar. I'm sure that they thought Extreme Rules would do more than it did. And here's the thing about Extreme Rules. I mean, it did about 250,000 buys, and the year before it did about 200,000 buys. And you have to keep in mind that Extreme Rules was without Brock Lesnar this year. If he wasn't part of it, it probably would have done less than the previous year, just because WWE buy rates in general continue to be on the decline. And besides Brock Lesnar, they really had nothing else. If they did John Cena versus John Laurinaitis, I think for sure it would have done under 200,000. So I think you can credit a good 50 to 60,000 buys to Brock Lesnar this year. Now, does that justify his salary, the $5 million contract? Who knows? Time will tell. We'll have to see how SummerSlam does and what else they do with Brock Lesnar, and hopefully things work out for WWE and they get the return on their investment. But that remains to be seen, and we still don't know if him losing to John Cena. I still think we have to see what happens with the upcoming pay-per-views and see how they do. But I think that it's going to be limited. I don't think Brock Lesnar is going to be able to add more than 50 to 60,000 buys. I just don't see that happening. I think that that's as far as it's going to go. And who knows if they killed it or not. We'll have to wait and see on that. All right, that'll wrap it up for this edition of No DQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching. Subscribe, youtube.com/NoDQCAW. Check out the 25 top WWE superstars of all time list. I know it's been generating some controversy, and we still got some more names to come. Who knows what else is going to be talked about. And I don't know how people are going to react to the rest of my picks. But it's just my picks, just my opinion. And like I've said before, I put a lot of thought process into it. And people should wait till the whole list comes out before they judge it or whatever. But I think I gave good reasoning for each pick. And hopefully most people enjoyed it and continue to watch and enjoy those videos. So check those out. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for all the latest regarding Slammiversary and No Way Out. We got a whole bunch of stuff on NoDQ right now about those pay-per-views. So check that out, and we'll see you next time.